Rabbi Reuven AI speaking here. Absolutely not. Jews should never celebrate Halloween. This holiday has its roots in Avodah Zara, idolatry, and is completely against our Torah. Even though today it might seem like just innocent fun with costumes and candy, the source of Halloween is actually a very horrible type of black magic idolatry that brings a lot of tumah, spiritual impurity, into the world.
And today there's what they call a holiday, Halloween. What I didn't know growing up, what most Jews even to this day don't know, is that even though it's all superficial, costumes, throwing eggs at each other, toilet paper all over the house, things like that, just torturing each other as kids, in reality the real source of Halloween is actually Avodah Zara. It's actually idolatry. And a very, very horrible black magic type of idolatry that has a lot of tumah in it. And if you notice today, maybe you're probably going to notice more next year than you will this year if you pay attention to it, there's a lot of strange things happen during Halloween. A lot of fights in houses, a lot of very, very strange negative things. And part of the reason is because of all the tum'ah that's in the air from people that think that they're innocently celebrating some type of holiday because they're wearing a costume, but in reality, the source of the Avodah Zara is still alive and well, unfortunately. The saddest thing is seeing Jews celebrate it. If the Goyim celebrate it, that's one thing. But when a Jew celebrates and is excited about, something that's against the Torah, it's very sad because it reminds us of how ignorant we are in this generation. The Rav Ovadia Alav Shalom, in his last years, he said certain things that he never said before, because usually what he really wanted people to focus on is people learn Torah, follow halacha, and everything's going to be fine. Whether Mashiach arrives or he arrives after or now, it doesn't make a difference. Why? If you follow the basics, you're going to be fine anyway. So a lot of the supernatural things that he dealt with, he didn't disclose it. But there was one time that he mentioned that he had a dream and he met the Mashiach. And Arav Mutzapi told this story. And he says that he met the Mashiach in his dream. And he asked the Mashiach, "No, when are you coming?" And the Mashiach says, "I can't come." Because why not? We've been waiting for you 2,000 years. He says there are still over 1 million children in Eretz Yisrael that do not know Kriyat Shema. Meaning the level of ignorance is so high at this stage, even in Eretz Yisrael where the first language is Hebrew, that even there they don't know Shema Yisrael, the very basic level of Jewish identification. In America, unfortunately, we're even worse. And part of the things that we see today is that the ignorance is not necessarily just in the secular world. It's not just in the conservative or reform or any type of other heretical type of sect that broke off of the truth, but it's also the Orthodox world is very, very confused today. They don't know right, they don't know left. People are confused of how to act because we all try to be good people. We all try to be very, very friendly. And we forget that there's a pasuk in the Torah that says, En shalom, Hashem amar la reshaim. There's no peace with reshaim. No peace. Hashem said it, not me, not Yaron Reuven. It's a pasuk in the Torah. Why? Why no peace with reshaim? You have a job as a Jew. You're supposed to serve Hashem Yitbarach. That's your job. That's why you came to the world. You don't like your job? Too bad. That's your job. There's only two types of Jews. One that serves Hashem, one that doesn't. That's it. All the other names, conservative, reform, orthodox, open, closed, dog, cat, whatever you want to call it, it's all shtuyot. It's either you serve Hashem or you don't serve Hashem. Now, if you serve Hashem, it doesn't make a difference what people call you. They call you Orthodox, they call you Optimus Prime. Doesn't make a difference. But if you don't serve Hashem, then it does matter. It does matter what they call you. Why? Because it depends why you don't serve Hashem. If you don't serve Hashem because you're simply secular and ignorant, like I used to be most of my life, and you don't know better, and you simply don't care, and you simply are just making whatever rules fit and you like, you do, whatever doesn't, you don't like, you don't do, that's one thing. But if you call yourself a conservative or reform or a construction or open Orthodox or any of these types of heretical sects, then it's a serious problem. And the reason why is because by declaring that you're part of these organizations, these movements if you will, you're openly declaring war against the Torah and Hashem Yitbarach. Because you're saying by being part of these organizations, it's no different than someone that says, listen, I'm part of Hamas. Yeah, but you know Hamas, their whole mission statement is to kill the Jews. Yeah, no, but I don't believe in it. What do you mean? But you're part of it. By being part of it, that means you believe in it. You testify that you want to kill Jews. By being part of a conservative organization, reform, reconstruction, open Orthodox, or anything else in between, that means that by default, you agree with everything they do. So when they say that they're open and accepting of non-Jewish rabbis, meaning that the rabbi himself doesn't have to be Jewish, you agree with it. When they're accepting and open to the fact that the head of the conservative movement in Jerusalem is an openly gay guy, you're accepting of that. You're all for it. When another one that's very famous in America writes a letter and he says that Hashem made a mistake in the Torah. Hashem made a mistake in the Torah because he said that it's not allowed to be a homosexual, and he must not mean it. He must not mean it. He made a mistake. Hashem made a mistake. When someone is part of such organizations, whether they agree with everything or disagree with everything, by default, they're part of it. They're part of it. They're part of the enemies of Hashem. En shalom Hashem amar l'reshaim. You're not allowed to have shalom. What are you obligated to do? You're obligated to serve Hashem. And does that mean you got to go start killing people? No, chas v'shalom. That's not what we're advocating here. We're not psychopaths. But you cannot turn the Rasha into a tzaddik just because he died. Somebody does not become a tzaddik overnight just because he died. Now, of course, you're going to mention the Gemara that says that Rabbi Chanina ben Dordia, he died, maybe Hashem said, welcome Rabbi Dordia to Olam Haba. There's a very, very long explanation of who, what, when it actually happened, which I've said in previous shiurim. But in so many words, if you can cry yourself to death from tshuva, you can be like him too. But actually, not just cry until your eyes hurt, but cry until you die. If you can cry from tshuva until you die, you can be Rabbi Dordia also. But until then, you cannot use that story. You cannot use that as a source. When someone signs up to one of these conservative or reform shuls, they need to understand that these organizations are behind the political movements to, first and foremost, make Brit Milah illegal in Israel and in America, especially in Israel. Recently in America, they tried to outlaw shchita, slaughtering. Without slaughtering, there's no kosher. If you cannot slaughter a cow or a chicken, there's no kosher anymore. That's it. From now on, all of you have to eat chocolate sandwiches. That's it. No kosher. No slaughtering, no kosher. They wanted to outlaw it, and they're still trying. So, and many, many other anti-Torah rules that they have and different political movements that they have, pro-abortion, and a lot of other things that are against the Torah. Most of all, they unanimously believe that the Torah is not from heaven. They unanimously believe that the oral Torah is not something to rely on. It's something dynamic that you can continue changing. You can change halacha, you can change laws, you could change anything you want. Like Legos. One day you build a transformer out of it, the next day it's a plane, the next day it's a house, the next day it's a farm. You use a Legos. And someone that takes the Torah and manipulates it in such a way is an enemy of Hashem. So to call such a person kadosh, holy, because some psychopath murdered him, I'm sorry, my friends, this is against the Torah.
We are meant to be a light unto the nations, not to follow their misguided practices. Remember, every Jew has to remember that he's a Jew and she's a Jew. We don't celebrate non-Jewish holidays, even if they seem harmless. It's a zilzul, disrespect to the Torah, and could lead to Chilul Hashem, desecration of God's name. Stick to our holy Torah and our own holidays. That's the path of a true Jew.